the vast majority of us will never be in a Zack Snyder film. So what is it like being in his world, and how does he communicate the vision to you?
Oh, he's so good at that, because he's always there for you, always. I mean, because it's a complicated world sometimes, and I played a small role in Justice League, at that time I was not given the whole script, so I said to him just before we shot, Zack, could you help me out with the story? What is, I'm not, and he took the time for me, and he was like. And he was like, on Rebel Moon, he was like that. Very, like, full of energy, always happy, always there for you. Yeah.
What's it like being on a set with, firstly, such a great cast, but also with him driving it along? Is it his energy that carries it, or does he really help people step up to another level?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. He's just a great director, I would say. And I wouldn't expect that maybe of all those directors, like, because he's like an action-driven movie guy, but I think it's very important for him that we can see into the character's history or life,
And for an action-driven director such as him, what do you think it's been like spreading this out across 2 films and taking more time to tell the story? Because Netflix, you have more time to be able to do that. Do you think that shows in the work?
I think so. When we saw the extended version of like Justice League, even though it's longer, from my point of view, it's more beautiful, it's more understandable, and you go deep into it, and very much more enjoyable.
And I gather there's going to be extended versions of this as well. Are you looking forward to see what comes up in those?
Definitely, yeah.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again, and thanks so much for speaking to us.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey you guys!
Hey you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey you guys!
Hey you